If you want a Minecraft world to last long term, it is vital to start it the right way. So in this video I show you how to go from creating a world to building a nether portal the best and quickest way possible. Let's check it out. Now the first step when creating any Minecraft world is, well, creating it. But before you just press create new world, there's a couple things you want to do. Of course I would recommend naming your world something. Of course game mode I would say survival or hardcore in this case. Difficulty definitely hard in my opinion. Allow cheats off unless you want to cheat. But one quick thing you want to make sure to do is under game rules, go down here to these two numbers and make this number be 1, so the sleep percentage is 1, and make the respawn location radius be 1. Now don't touch any of the rest of these, but the reason why you want to do this is that then if you ever have this world turn to multiplayer, you don't actually have to turn cheats on later so that you can have one player sleep, and with your respawn radius being 1, then you can only respawn on a single block instead of a large different amount of blocks, so it's easier to build a spawn kind of area where you can have a singular block that all players spawn on. Then press done on there. You can go to more world options and of course put in your seed if you have one. I actually have a playlist for some awesome Minecraft 1.18 seeds, or you can leave it blank for a random seed if you want. Then press create new world. And now here's how you start the world in-game the best way possible. Alright, the second that you render into a new world, of course the first thing you want to do is punch a tree. That kind of goes without saying, but definitely go and grab your first tree. Now that you have the logs from your first tree, craft them into a crafting table and put 2 more planks on the side here like this to craft a crafting table and some sticks. Now go find where some stone is. Place down your crafting table, make a pickaxe, and mine yourself up 17 pieces of stone. And we got incredibly lucky there and just located some iron, but generally that wouldn't be the case. Now that you have your 17 stone, you want to craft some specific things. Craft a furnace, craft a pickaxe like this, and also craft an axe and a shovel, as well as a sword like that. Now break your crafting table. You can throw away your wooden pickaxe if you want to, and before we do anything else, you want to go and kill 3 sheep. Now if you can't find any sheep, what you can also do is look for a village and grab a bed from there, but it is vital if you want to survive your first night and just overall start your Minecraft world the right way, to get yourself a bed as early as possible, because it's certainly a load off of your mind to not have to worry about really any of the nighttime mobs. And of course we can just quickly craft ourselves a bed like that. Alright, now we don't have to worry at all about dying at night due to mobs. The next thing we want to do is find some iron and some coal. So we got lucky with finding some iron here, but generally you wouldn't find it this easily. I'm actually kind of surprised I found it there. But you want to get yourself some iron if you can find it. Now in Minecraft 1.18, the 2 best places for mining iron are a lot lower and higher than they normally would be. So basically the higher you can get up in your world, the better chance of iron, or the lower, down to let's say Y14 being about the max, meaning that kind of where the normal world's coordinates are, like let's say around Y60, something like that, you don't usually get that much iron, so it's good to go a little bit higher or lower than the base level of the world. Also, find yourself some coal. Generally you will find this before the iron, but it always depends. And try and mine up maybe 10 pieces. You don't need too much right now, but it's always good to get yourself some. Again, one of the best places for finding both iron and stone are on exposed cliff faces, especially if you're trying to get them really quickly. Now that we have both those things, you want to go on the lookout for some food. So generally something like a plains biome would be great with finding a lot of different animals, but it's incredibly important to find a lot of food early game, or you can easily starve to death, especially when caving. So generally advise with the stone axe that you just crafted to kill as many farm animals as you can find, and try and find about 16 pieces of meat. If you don't have any of these around, some alternative food sources would be kelp or fish from the river, as well as grabbing some hay bales from a village if one of those is nearby. Now that we have 16 pieces of meat, we want to smelt both of these things. Before we do that, we're going to get this to smelt in an area that makes a little bit more sense. The entrance to a cave can be a good place. Now place down your crafting table, place down your furnace, and start smelting the food. Now what you can do is as your food smelts, you can mine some of the stone around you, maybe some more coal or even iron if that's around, just sort of doing multiple things at once, as it takes a bit of time for your furnace to cook all your food. You can always craft a second furnace there, place it down with a piece of coal in it and smelt up your iron. Also with any remaining coal that you have, you should definitely craft it into some torches. At least 32 can be great, but basically as many as you can get your hands on. I'd also advise grabbing a bit more wood at this time, up to even half a stack of logs if you can. Your stone axe isn't actually that slow, so it can be pretty good to get yourself a large supply of that as quickly as possible. The reason why is that unless we soon run into an abandoned mine shaft, then we won't really have a good source of wood after we go into cave, and it's really important to have that for a lot of different activities. Now grab out some of the things that you've cooked. You can always eat your food if you're hungry like I am here, and you want to turn the iron that you've made into certain different things. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to make a shield. A shield only takes one piece of iron, and I would say it's probably more effective than full diamond armor in protecting yourself from mobs. The other thing I would suggest is an iron axe, as it's a good weapon. It does use 3 pieces of iron, but as well as that, it's going to give you a good way to chop down more wood if you need to later. But first, I would always craft an iron pickaxe if you have the materials for it, as if you do end up finding some diamonds in a cave, then you can actually mine them. Now it's starting to be nighttime, but we don't have to worry. We can just throw up some torches around where we are if we don't want to have the dark here, and place down our bed and sleep, and we've survived the first night. Now that we have a bit of iron and some basic materials and even a shield, a good supply of food and some logs, our big step now is to find diamonds. So what I would generally suggest doing is having your shield in your offhand, torches in your main hand, and more or less running through a cave with the torches in your hand, lighting it up as you go and looking for a place that goes deeper. You want to go as low down as you can. This cave seems to go rather low. In fact, it does. We almost went off a cliff there. But more or less go as low as you can and try and place some torches intermittently, as if you do place torches here and there, then you'll be able to find your way back a lot easier, as if there's no torches you can totally get lost. It'll also be a good way of tracking where you've been and where you haven't been. Now at this stage, as you try and get lower to find some diamonds, I would suggest mining some iron here, basically enough for iron armor and maybe some other iron tools, so something like half a stack of iron ore would be a good idea at this point, but of course it all depends on how many you can find. Just mine it if you see on the side of a place you're running to. If you can't find a large cave, I would suggest looking for one, as going strip mining for some of these things can take a lot longer in the short term. Of course long term strip mining is a great strategy, but short term it can definitely be a lot slower than just going into a large cave. Now as you're going through the cave, how do you stay safe and not be killed by a creeper or a zombie? What I would generally suggest is to face away from your safest direction. So we don't really think any mobs are going to come from this water, so we'll face away from it. Now we're facing the danger head on, we can hit it without worrying that a creeper will be behind us. Similarly, going against a wall can be a good idea. I'm not saying you should necessarily be walking around a cave like this, but just let's say you see something dangerous, to instantly face towards it and to kind of have something behind you that you think is somewhat safe. So you only have to deal with a danger in one direction at a time. Also, when you're in the upper levels of caving, make sure to grab a bit of coal, because you're not going to really find much of that when you're in the lower levels, and so having an easy way of smelting instead of having to ruin your logs to cook things is going to be a good idea. You're also going to be using up a lot of torches when you're caving, so definitely make sure to grab as much coal as you can when you're higher up, because you won't have that chance later down. Also, if a mob's trying to attack you, just hold right click to block the attack with the shield, and then right after the mob has stopped attacking, you can stop using your shield and you can hit the mob, because there'll be a little bit of time after it's attacked you that you can have to kill it effectively. Alright, now that we have some iron and some coal, we're going to go even lower down. If you come to a big drop like this and you want to get down easily, if you're in Java Edition and this doesn't work in Bedrock, you can make a boat, pick up your crafting table there, place down the boat and ride it off the edge like this, and you can safely land. You can also try and use a water bucket if you have one of those on you, but you probably wouldn't at this point. Now you can mine deep slate ores with stone tools, so there's nothing to worry about in that way, and they're going to be a little bit harder to mine, but overall you'll be fine, just grabbing a bit more to get your armor. Alright, now we've found a creeper, and so we're not killed by it. I'll show you a quick little way of how to defeat creepers. You want to run towards it and hit it as you're running. This will make it knock back more. Now turn around and stop facing it. Another thing you can do is just hold your shield up like this, and when it explodes, it will not give you any damage. But of course, if you wanted your area not to be exploded and or you wanted the gunpowder from the creeper, that wouldn't be the best idea. Now this cave goes a lot lower, and then with the lava pool there, that's actually really good because we're going to try and get ourselves another portal. And so if you can find a low part of a cave, simply run around it placing torches here or there, looking for some exposed diamond ore. Also at this stage, to protect yourself from hostile mobs, something I would suggest is to find a semi-safe place to be, and to place down your furnace and crafting table again, and to smelt yourself all your iron into the ingots and make yourself some armor. You can always place down 2 furnaces and split up your iron like this, so it smelts quicker, and you're not here without armor for a little bit less time. Once you get a little bit of extra iron for it, I would also suggest crafting a bucket and going to the nearest water you can find and picking it up, as having a source of water will save your life many times, not only in resisting fall damage, but also for a lot of other useful purposes like, let's say, planting crops. Now if you have a large lava pool and you have at least 2 buckets, in fact you technically only need 1, but it's basically impossible without 2, you can then make another portal with just buckets, and I'll show you how to do that right now. But generally you would want to make it with a diamond pickaxe. Now go over to your lava pool and turn some of it into obsidian like that. Pick up some lava, and then place down the water, and place down the obsidian next to it like this. Then pick up another piece of obsidian, and place it down in the water like that. That will give you the basis of your portal so far. Now pick up your water again and place down 2 blocks here. You can place down the water here and then the obsidian here. And pick up some more lava again, and place down the water on the other side and the obsidian here, and then place these cobblestone 2 higher, and then grab some more lava, place it up here, place the water next to it. Now once we've gone 3 blocks up, and we grab another bucket of lava, we can actually do this part of it a little bit differently. So we're going to place the blocks right here, then we're going to place the water in the corner, and we're going to place the lava in the center, so sort of like the opposite of what we've been doing. Then we're going to grab our bucket of lava again, and place it again in the center, with our water on the side. And now we have the nether portal shape. We can simply mine out the cobblestone here in the center, and we can light it. But how are we going to light it? Well, thankfully, especially when you're at the Deepslate layer, there's still gravel that spawns here, and it's really easy to pick out without the stone being there. So simply mine that up, especially if you have a shovel, this will be a lot quicker. And there's a 1 in 10 chance to get a piece of flint and steel from this. And we can simply craft this with one of our pieces of iron into flint and steel, light the portal, and now we have a way to go to the nether. But let's say you want to do this with a diamond pickaxe, I'll show you how to do that process as well. Alright, now that our iron is smelted, we're going to break these furnaces right here and craft as many pieces of armor as we can. A cool trick is to craft multiple pieces at once. So for instance, if you make a shape like this, then make a shape like this, and then make 2 here and 2 here. You can simply take out each piece in order just like that, which I think is pretty cool, and you can place them on here. Now of course the biggest piece is the chest plate, which takes 8. If you can't build that, that's fine, but I would generally suggest getting as many pieces as you can, as of course each one you have you're a bit safer. Also when you do have your water bucket, make sure to have it on your hotbar, you'll definitely find that useful, especially if you end up getting on fire by, let's say, a zombie or by going in lava by accident. If you do have a mob attack you just cannot avoid, especially something like a skeleton, I would suggest getting near to it, and the second it hits you, to basically have it hit you, get your shield down. If you have a big group of mobs like this, it's always important just to hold your shield up and basically just resist the attacks here. Sometimes the mobs will even fight each other, and never forget to eat food when you're attacking mobs, especially when you have a low amount of health, because then you will regenerate your health really quickly. And again, this can also be very important as well as having a good amount of armor. And it looks like we found some diamonds, so we can mine that, but of course we have to mine it with a iron pickaxe. It's a good thing we made that earlier, we wouldn't be able to. Sometimes you'll get unlucky and you'll just find one, and I think we might have just got unlucky here and we literally just found one there. So we're going to keep looking. What you want to find is about 5 diamonds, and that'll give you a good basis to craft some essentials with. If you are having a bit of trouble finding diamonds, a couple diamond finding tips. One of them is the lower you are, the more diamonds you're going to find generally. Of course that doesn't always happen, but just statistically. The other thing is if you find an underwater part of a cave, there is a rule where diamonds will spawn a little bit less if they're exposed to air. So if you have an area that's exposed to water, you will find generally more diamonds underneath there. Also, when looking for diamonds in a cave, never forget to look up. Now, of course, be careful not to be ambushed by mobs while you do this, but a lot of the diamonds you find won't be on the floor. For instance, if we look up here, you can see there's a diamond sticking out right there. They wouldn't have caught if we were just sort of looking at the floor the entire time. And that actually turned out to be 3 diamonds. Also in Minecraft 1.18, there's a massive variety in how many different diamonds you find, anywhere from 1 diamond per ore cluster all the way up to something like 18 or 20. So always be aware of that. If you're trying to find diamonds, you may find a lot or a very small amount. And we finally found our last bit of diamonds here to get at least 5. And now that we have these diamonds, we can leave the cave. But before we do that, we are going to try and grab a little bit more iron to make sure we have the full iron armor and tools, and a bit extra, as we're definitely going to need a lot of that. If you do happen to find a lot of iron and deep slate that generate together, that is called an iron ore vein. and you can find a massive amount of iron there. And by massive, we're talking up to literal tens of thousands. You can even find these clusters right here of raw iron, which are a block of raw iron, which give you 9 raw iron, which is an awesome deal. But one other thing we want to do is to craft our diamond pickaxe. And now that we have the diamond pickaxe, we want to mine exactly 14 pieces of obsidian. You can always mine them like this, but something I would suggest is to place down your water bucket. Maybe get yourself up on a certain block, something like, let's say this, then place down the water bucket. Because now when you mine that piece of obsidian, there's absolutely no chance that it will fall in lava. In fact, if you want to be super safe, you could even go up on 2 blocks on top of each other, so that mobs can't hit you down, or at least something like a zombie couldn't hit you down while you're mining your obsidian. And of course, if the cave you're in doesn't have any lava in it, you can just head to the surface now. And jumping into a cave on your first or second day of a Minecraft world may seem a bit risky, but it's a lot less so than you'd think, because there's this mechanic called local difficulty, which means that the game will literally get more difficult in terms of more mobs and things like that the longer you're in an area. And so it's much better to take your risks earlier game than later game, especially if you stay in the exact same area, as then you don't have to worry so much about, let's say, having a bunch of creepers chasing you, as basically less of them will spawn if you're in an area for a short amount of time. We've now made it out of the cave, and there's 2 things we want to look for. We want to look for a cow and kill it for a piece of leather. And we want to look for a little bit of sugarcane. Alright, we've found some cows, and we can kill them for the leather and the meat. Also at this stage, you're probably going to want some more food anyway, so that's going to be a good thing to do. And here is some sugarcane, and we can grab that as well. Alright, we now want to craft some paper. We want to get our piece of leather and our 3 pieces of paper and place them in the crafting grid to make a book. Now with 4 of our pieces of obsidian, we're going to make an enchanting table like this. And we can also make a diamond sword with our other 2 pieces of diamond. Now place down 2 blocks you like the look of next to each other with 2 blocks in between. Get out your obsidian, place 2 like this, go 1, 2, 3 up here, and 1, 2, 3 over here, then place 2 other blocks here, place 2 on top, and light the portal with your flint and steel, just like that. You now have your nether portal. We now have our enchanting table as well, and you can actually mine it with even like an iron pickaxe. There's no worry about that breaking. Of course, mining some lapis lazuli while in a cave is a great idea, so you can enchant on here right away. And also having some gold, so you can have a gold helmet with the piglins is a good idea as well. And we now have full iron armor, a diamond pickaxe, a diamond sword, a nether portal, an enchantment table, a shield, and a whole lot of other items here as well. And we're basically ready to continue on in our Minecraft world. But I would say this is a Minecraft world started the right way. Goodbye.